Alright, and on to another match with Green White Connor's Company. Here's our opening hand. Looks pretty lackluster. Aside from that Gavney Township being colorless, it's moderately playable. Going turn 1, birds into another land drop, and then Knight of the Reliquary would be a pretty aggressive start, and it would certainly get us to this Collected Company. But the fact that we've got a colorless mana here is not really enough to go on, and I can't assume I'm going to draw green. It's certainly never worth taking that gamble. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit suspect because it doesn't really have a lot in between birds and like Collected Company and Court of Calling. So again, certain decks, it would be really tough to pull this off, but I really don't want to go down to 5, and this one really is debatably playable, and so I'm going to give it a shot. So let's go with that. All right, we got another Collected Company on the top. Not bad. We're going to keep that there. I'm sorry, we're going to prescribe it to the bottom because we want something else. We are now faced with the decision here. Is it worth Horizon Canopy or Shocking the Temple Garden? We certainly want to be playing a birds right now. And I think we're going to get more value out of Shocking the Temple Garden right now and then playing the Horizon Canopy later, though it might be exactly the same net life loss, knowing that we're going to shock for 2 and probably play 2 birds off the same land. So not a big deal either way. Arguably, that was the better choice. Maybe it didn't make a difference. Next turn, playing a Vizier off of that land, you could be faced with the same amount of life loss. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we drew a Ghost Quarter, so we can do a number of things here. As I mentioned in the previous game, playing a Vizier of Remedies onto an open field is not really like the best plan ever, making it vulnerable to removal when you really have no advantage to having the card on the table other than just having a 2-1 beater. Like, you wouldn't play bears in Modern, right? So there's really no use in having Vizier of Remedies on the table until you're really ready to combo off. Alright, we've got a Spellskite. That's a pretty great draw. We're going to want that guy out there, and that's going to help us with our Court of Calling later on as well. Against this deck in particular, and if he chooses to path it, which is really his best way of removing it, that's going to get us the 4, which is going to help us with Collected Company. Alright, now what do we got? Ooh, nasty, Vendilion Clique. What's he going to take? Probably that Coco. Now I have an option to Chord. No, I don't. I don't have enough green. Never mind. I don't think I'd want to do that either way. And he does take the Coco, but hello, we've got Devoted Druid and Vizier of Remedies in our hand, and exactly 4 mana to play both of them. So we are certainly going to do that with Spellskite mana on the table, or Spellskite on the table, not mana, excuse me, to protect our combo. Knowing that my opponent's got Vendilion Clique, he's probably not playing Supreme Verdict in this deck, but it's possible. Let's see if he can stop us. Alright, obviously going to redirect that to Spellskite. And we'll get a basic forest. Alright, what's he got for us? Horizon Canopy, we're going to fetch, we're going to sacrifice for a draw, and we're going to use Sun Petal Grove. We're going to go for infinite mana here. Really all we need is 5 at this moment, which will leave us 3 mana untapped for Mana Leak. If we needed to, we can use Devoted Druid mana for Mana Leak as well, but might as well threaten to just do it with lands. He's got Mana Leak. That's really the only thing that can stop us here. Knowing that everything can be activated at this point instant speed. The Court of Calling, the Duskwatch Recruiter activations, there's not much that he can do. Okay, we've got Duskwatch, and he concedes. Alright. That went pretty well. Let's go to game 2. Alright, we'll get that centered for you. And we're off. Alright, here we go. What's our opening hand look like? Well, we've got... Come on. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. We've got tons of lands, Duskwatch Recruiter, but these are quite utility lands, so this one's debatably a keeper, knowing that my opponent is on a control deck. Stirring Wildwood looks pretty darn good. Ghost Quarter looks pretty darn good, knowing that we have to deal with Celestial Colonnades at some point, and Horizon Canopy is just another draw later on. Duskwatch Recruiter is not a terrible card against that deck. This is going to generate some card advantage. I think that this one's okay, actually, but we're going to maul. So we're going to put the birds on top because we certainly want that, and we do have our combo. That looks nice. Fetch. We just need a forest at this point. We want to be kind of on the lookout for blood moons in game 2 here. Alright, so my opponent has burned a lightning bolt against a birds, which is actually like right according to plan for us because we're going to be playing a Devoted Druid here on turn 2, and we certainly don't want that lightning bolt pointed at our Devoted Druid. Alright, maybe that second time it will be. Either way, we've got a pretty good turn 3, and my opponent is tapped out, so Courser of Kruphix comes down safely. Another Reliquary on top of the library, that's a pretty good one. And he's got more removal for us. Alright, hello. Okay, well, that screws things up a little bit. Arguably, you could have made the choice not to search your library for a land card so that neither of the Reliquary was drawn. And it is anyway, because you shuffled and put another one on top. So, we're going to play Knight and Birds if things go as planned. And we'll start with the Knight, just in case we have a random sensor hanging out. And we've got birds. Now it's a real bummer to see Vizier of Remedies. Okay, alright, we got another path. Giving us all this mana is really pretty dangerous when we're running like Chord of Calling and things like that. And really my opponent's hand size is really just ticking down. Alright, Collected Company. We're going to do this main phase while he's tapped out because we want to avoid a Cryptic... Oh, no we're not. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Vizier of Remedies. Now, okay. What I was getting at there a moment ago, Collected Company main phase is not the worst choice. You might be walking right into a Spell Queller knowing that my opponent's got 3 lands, but he's only got 3 cards in hand. He's played tons of removal on me already. We're like clear of Cryptic Command, which he's very likely got in the deck. And what kinds of counter spells is he going to be playing that's going to deal with my Collected Company? The argument could be made that a main phase Collected Company is just great value and a good way to, you know, kind of make sure that that thing resolves or help to make sure that that's got a better shot of resolving. But we could also go for this value plan of just playing our Vizier and going to beat town. See if we can bait some more removal out. Electrolyze. Grody. And I totally forgot about my birds. Okay, you guys are thinking that I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. Okay, so I have enough mana for both. Alright, Collected Company, we've got Eternal Witness. We're going to grab something out of your yard. Likely that Collected Company, but also Devoted Druid's another option, so we've just got natural combo in hand then. Tireless Tracker and Burrenton Forge Tender. Now, Burrenton Forge Tender would give us an option to prevent the Electrolyze altogether and save Vizier and Birds of Paradise. But honestly, I'm not too concerned about that. I'd rather have a Tireless Tracker than both of them. Alright. And we want Collected Company. I don't think my opponent's going to let me have this combo. And knowing that he's got all that untapped mana, we're just going to try to outvalue him at this point. Having a Resolve Tireless Tracker helps us in that plan. Okay. Can we get that Duskwatch Recruiter out? That's a pretty great draw with 5 lands. Okay. Nope, I guess we can't. I should have maybe attacked first? I don't know. Alright, let's play that Vizier. And get in there for 3. No bolt, no bolt, no bolt. Alright, cool. Now, if Tireless Tracker goes unchecked, it can really tear that deck apart. And what we talked about on the cast was Tireless Tracker seems like a pretty vulnerable Magic card in Modern, knowing that it has only 2 life. And we've seen this deck play Electrolyze, Path to Exile, and Lightning Helix, Lightning Bolt. But at this point, we've also seen my opponent use quite a bit of that removal and exile it with the Snapcasters already on my smaller creatures. So for the most part, the Tireless Tracker went untouched until now. Anger of the Gods. Ouch. Alright, let's see if we can't maybe resolve a collected company and rebuild our board state. It's looking kind of grim for us. I think we got a better chance of doing it now during the main phase, if anything. And what do we got? Negate! Oh, that's nasty. Alright, this might be a good game for us, because we can't do a whole lot with the Vizier of Remedies, can we? And he's going to Spell Queller it. Alright, so he does play Spell Queller. Card is historically collected company's Boogeyman. I think it's a good choice. Alright, Engineered Explosives on 2. It's good to see that he's got that in the deck. I'm just drawing lands here, so this isn't really going to happen for us. Now, he could have put us in one turn away from death with Celestial Colonnade and Spell Queller, but the fact that he didn't makes me think that he's probably got some kind of Cryptic Command or some kind of big costed, no, I guess it doesn't even have big costed, some kind of 2 mana or anything counterspell to deal with my collected company. That would be really the only thing that would put him out of the game at that point. So we're going to try it anyway, because it's really our last hope, Obi-Wan. Yeah, okay. So Snapcaster Mage into Negate or Cryptic Command would be even better. That'll do it. Alright, so there's game 2. Alright, game 3. It's been a couple days since I played these, so forgive me for stumbling. I'm trying to remember exactly what I did in these matches. Apparently my decision-making process is a little different today than it was then. When you are kind of talking through it, and this is good practice for anyone at home that's interested in doing this sort of thing, when you're talking through it and sort of reasoning through your plays, you might see things a little differently. So it's probably worth viewing your replays, and Magic Online really does a good job of providing that for you, whereas like other games don't really, give you the opportunity to go back and watch any of your saved replays like this one does. Okay, Voice of Resurgence is one of the cards I boarded in. Obviously great against control decks, and this is a decent opening hand. Duskwatcher, Critter, Voice of Resurgence are pretty good against him. Walking Ballista, not so much, but if I can land a Walking Ballista and just start taking it up, I can start to shoot him in the face. So it's not a terrible card. Okay, so I'm afraid of Blood Moon again, and I really have no need to fetch out at Temple Garden, so we're going to go with a Forest. Alright, Devoted Druid I drew. Do I want to go for the combo and just hope that I draw into a Vizier? Let's see. I think so. Now, it's possible that the better play would just be to get that Voice in play while he doesn't have a Spell Snare to snag it, and then to start attacking with my token. I think that probably was what I should have done there. Alright, here I drew a Stirring Wildwood, which is actually a pretty awesome draw, knowing that I've got all these 2-drops in my hand. I can play the Voice, and I can attack with the Stirring Wildwood later on. I can put it into play tapped, as part of the cost is. Serum Visions, okay. Alright, Lightning Bolt, I'm not too afraid of that. And now we're left with 4 mana. We can play 2 2-drops, or we can play we can activate Stirring Wildwood and attack. Alright. We're going to get in there with a 3/3 and leave our Burnt and Forge Tender up as security against Anger of the Gods at this point, which is really pretty brutal against our deck, and we know that he's got it because he cast it against us last game, and there it happens to be. Alright, just in the nick of time. We're certainly going to prevent that damage to our creatures. Alright, he's at 13. I've got 2 creatures on board, one of them being an XX Elemental. Okay, alright, there goes one. Bummer. Yeah, we definitely want to land from that one, Forest. That gives us even more resources to activate that Stirring Wildwood. And ouch, there's a Collected Company when he's tapped out. I like the looks of that. We can do both a Collected Company and put a Walking Ballista in play, which would make our Elemental functionally looking at a 4/4 this turn attacking if things go right. Alright, there's some great value. Knight of the Reliquary, Eternal Witness. We're going to grab that Burnt and Forge Tender, and that's even better than playing the Walking Ballista because we want more backup against Anger of the Gods. If he draws another land and has a Snapcaster in hand, he could activate, he could play Snapcaster and anger us again, and we certainly don't want to fall into that trap. This is a pretty good situation for us. Short of a Supreme Verdict, we're in pretty good shape, and even then we've got Stirring Wildwood to combat that. Alright, path. Get a land. What do we got here? What's going on? Interestingly enough, he didn't path the Burnton Forge Tender. I think that maybe that tells us he doesn't have the Snapcaster. Who knows? We should be able to attack him to death now and then ping him for the rest of the damage with our Walking Ballista. 4, 5, 6, 7. As long as there's no removal that is unforeseen. Ooh, alright. Snapcaster, what is he going to path? He's going to path. Alright, so I'm shooting the Snapcaster right away. I could wait, but I don't want him to block, that's for sure. And he's going to path the Burnton Forge Tender. Okay. Need a Forest. Now he's got 3, 4, 5 damage on the table. I'll bring him down to 4. Devoted Druid and Vizier of Remedies in hand. Interesting. I don't think that we want to really go for the combo at this point because we've just got sheer power on the table. So we're going to animate our Stirring Wildwood, making our Elemental that much bigger. We've got enough mana to make Walking Ballista that much bigger, and if we really so choose to do so, we can even play Devoted Druid and Vizier of Remedies. But I don't think we want to do that because then we're overextending into like maybe a Cryptic Command that would tap down all our creatures. So we want to see first if we can attack with all these guys and just straight up kill them. Alright, what do we got here? Cryptic Command, there it is. Alright, so now we have a choice. Do we want to play the combo or do we want to save for the pump? And I definitely want to save for the pump because I'm so damn close to having, well, I say definitely, but apparently I had the thought of maybe playing that combo at some point. Alright, now this leaves me an interesting choice. He's going to gain 3 life off of this. I do have an opportunity to remove 2 counters from Walking Ballista and shoot my Elemental so he doesn't gain the life and stays at 4. Because if I do 2 damage to my Elemental, that removes one of my creatures, and my Elemental shrinks and then dies. That's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad tempo loss for me. So instead, I don't know if you saw this play, but I do have a Stirring Wildwood that I still can activate. And so I'm going to turn that into a creature, making my Elemental a 4/4 until end of turn. Okay, so he saw through that. Walking Ballista gets the Lightning Bolt. We're going to shoot him for 2. That brings him down to 5 after the life gain, which he's still dead. Eternal Witness and Stirring Wildwood should kill him if he doesn't have a path. Let's see if we can get there. Yeah, no path. Alright, so there's game 3. Alright, thank you.